Descending. No level pattern. Go.
May 1982, and Britain is at war with Argentina. Royal Navy ships are under daily air attack by Argentine naval and air force fighter bombers in the waters around the Falkland Islands. Thousands of miles north, and the Royal Air Force is engaged in another war, the Cold War, patrolling the airspace over West Germany. Tensions with the Soviet Union are high, and pilots constantly hone their skills in exercises and training flights. On the 25th of May 1982, Royal Air Force Germany is hard at it, while down in the South Atlantic, tragedy strikes when Argentine aircraft bomb and sink the Royal Navy destroyer HMS Coventry. The British public's focus is understandably concentrated on the hot war of Argentina, rather than the routine of keeping the peace in Germany. During the day, 2 RAF Sepecat Jaguar GR1s of No. 14 Squadron are returning to their base at RAF Bruggen after another training exercise. The No. 2 Jaguar is flown by Steve Griggs. Suddenly, he spots a dot on the horizon. He identifies it quickly as an RAF Phantom FGR-2. The Jaguar was at 1,350 feet when the radar unit had warned of conflicting traffic ahead. Griggs immediately reported the 9-2 Squadron Phantom sighting to the leading aircraft, as it appeared to be coming head-on at them. Seconds later, the Phantom flashed past, turned and came back, moving into a firing position. The Phantom was fully armed, and had decided to undertake a mock attack upon the Jaguars, as they were allowed to do for training purposes. The planes were fully armed, in case an East German or Soviet MiG accidentally crossed the inner German border. However, safety procedures were in place to prevent the accidental firing of weapons systems. Shortly after taking off from RAF Wildenrath, the Phantom crew had gone through their pre-attack checks, readying the aircraft for combat, including arming the weapons. Normally, the pilot and navigator would become aware that the weapons had become live, but this time the navigator, preoccupied with his duties, failed to realize that the pilot had armed the weapons. On spotting the Jaguars, the Phantom began a mock attack, passing the Jaguars and coming back, lining up on Griggs' aircraft. At this point, the Phantom pilot pulled the missile release trigger. What should have happened was a witness mark would appear on the radar film to record the intercept. But instead of this happening, the Phantom pilot watched, horrified, as an AIM-9G Sidewinder missile launched from a wing pylon, streaking off towards the hapless Jaguar. He had just performed a Fox 2 attack. This had occurred because of several mistakes. Firstly, the Phantom's navigator had not realized the pilot had armed the weapons, and secondly, when the crew radioed their intention to attack the Jaguars to the Sector Operations Center at Wildenrath, the base was in the midst of an emergency drill and confusion reigned. The operator forgot to order check switches safe to the Phantom, who would have realized their weapons were live. Also, a circuit breaker in the aircraft's rear, intended to render the arming system inert during training, was defective and could make the weapons live even if the switch was in the off position. The first Griggs knew about the Sidewinder's launch was a massive explosion. The Sidewinder had flown up the Jag's starboard engine. The Jaguar yawed violently to the right, and the controls were not responding. Griggs heard his flight leader's voice yelling "eject" in his helmet headset. Griggs barely hesitated before following this sound advice. The Sidewinder had blown off pretty much everything behind the cockpit. Griggs landed safely in a farmer's field with a few bruises, while the Jaguar spread itself over the German countryside in a flaming pile of debris. Griggs had no hard feelings for the crew of the Phantom, and in time-honoured tradition put a barrel of beer in the officers' mess, the Phantom crew attending the resultant piss-up. The offending Phantom was christened Jag Killer, and the silhouette of the shot-down aircraft added beneath the cockpit as a kill. However, the top brass took a dim view of the loss of their multi-million-pound plane, and the Phantom crew were court-martialed and severely punished. As for Phantom Jag Killer, it was scrapped in 1998. Griggs was forced to eject from another Jaguar a few months later, when it suffered a catastrophic engine fire over Scotland. I hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe, share and support my channel at PayPal and Patreon, details in the description box below.
For recovery, aircraft line astern. Go.